Water.
Why is your water blue, dude? Vanilla?
Because the glass is blue.
Oh, I did not think of that. Big brain.
Like what?
What? I don't know what. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome back to Downtime, and I'm Ida, and today we have none other than the one, the only
Okay, over
Ritz.
exaggerating.
Okay, yeah, yeah, but
Over
legit,
exaggerating.
there's only one of you in the world, dude. Yeah, of course,
Hello.
of
Hello,
course.
downtimers. Same.
How have you been?
Good. I guess comparing seeing everything right now.
Dude,
So
that's
far
good to
so good.
hear. Like, a lot of people aren't doing well, so now.
Well, can I
Yeah.
be honest now?
Oh, yeah? Well, of course, all the time. All the time. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that same. Ha.
Oh,
Yesterday, day before yesterday, I was trying to
yeah.
clean my nose with a cotton bud. I was going around properly on both sides, and I was like, "Oh, damn! I did a good job." And when I put down the cotton bud and I
Okay.
looked
Yeah.
down and the cotton bud just hit me, and I was like,
Oh,
"Yo, there's nothing more painful in this world
ow, ow.
than heartbreak." That's what I thought. But then no. But then no. A fresh
Eh,
piercing. Anyway,
well,
anyway. Damn.
piercing is a big deal when it comes to guys,
Why?
especially in Malaysia. I mean, it's well, first off, if you're a Muslim, born Muslim,
I see.
you are not supposed to pierce your ears.
Fair enough. I remember this in school.
Yes, of
Yep.
course you remember. Everyone remembers that.
Yeah, dude, they
But,
just hold the rotan while telling you that do not pierce your
yeah.
ears, boy. Yeah, like legit. This is my 11th piercing. 11th piercing? Yes, 11th piercing. I would always say get a piercing if it makes you happy, but because of the culture and also religious practices, is this the only factor that's stopping you from getting a piercing, or like generally there are a lot of things that you want to get that hey, a lot of things are stopping me as well.
Well, I would say that the only thing that's stopping me is living underneath my parents' roof. I mean, that's it. That's it. It's more towards like, I mean, Malaysia or Asian. I don't know if it's Asian even. It's more towards like nowadays. Not nowadays. I think for my generation, our generation. I'm not sure. It's like we are supposed to when you are under a parent's house. It's a sign of respect. You follow through, sort of a
Yeah.
thing. Then you can get out once you have your own house. You can do whatever you want with your body. Unknown good reason.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the censorship. You released like a few seconds of my editing time. Thank you.
Hey,
Anyway, dude, what?
for some reason that your body doesn't belong to you until you're out of the house. You know.
I mean, yeah, I get you. Especially since, you know, let's not talk about the process of how we came to the world, but they were the ones that had to do it. And, the mom, yeah, okay, sorry. Let's
And the
just cut this
mom
out.
and the dad, kiss
This,
each other. That's
yeah.
how they have baby.
Suddenly, there's a baby there. Suddenly, magically appearing. Okay, wait,
I
I'm
heard like a
frozen. Okay, yeah, yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I heard like a story where someone, I think one of my friends, believed that they thought there's a button a guy would press on a woman that will make the woman pregnant.
I cannot even hold my laughter.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
sorry.
cute. It's cute. I mean, it's so innocent. I mean, that's
Okay,
just a funny story I
okay, okay.
heard.
Sidetrack.
Yeah,
Ritz, how are babies made?
maybe. Wow.
How would you tell your kids how they came to the world? Like, would you tell them, bro, you came out of the ocean, isn't that cool? Or would you tell them, like, yeah, I would
You would
literally tell
tell
my
me.
kids, okay, it depends on the age that they ask me. If they ask
Hmm.
me at, like, 8, 9 ish, pose a question that a kid would ask at the age of 8 or 9.
Where do babies come from? Where do I come from?
Excuse me.
Can I get a baby brother? Something like that. I have no idea. What else the kid ask?
You know what I'll say? If they ask
What?
me where do babies come from, I'll ask them, where do you think? I'll hear their side and I'll navigate around that. Okay, so yeah, if
Okay,
they
that's
say
smart.
if they say they don't know, then I'll say try to imagine. But if they say that two people go into a room, come out, and then one is pregnant, I wouldn't know how to react to that, dude.
I mean, that
Insane.
means your kid is very observant, I
Yeah,
would
dude.
say.
Okay,
Hmm.
I knew it at a young age. I think it's
How old?
because yeah,
How old?
because around that age, 8 or 9,
For real?
because people talked about it in school at that age, and I was like, the fuck is this though?
What
I was
F?
legit scared. Like, you know the kind of
Shit.
fear when you're afraid of
Yeah.
heights and you're put on the 99 level of a building looking down without any ropes? That kind of
Yeah.
fear as a kid.
For
Yeah.
real?
I was
Damn.
scared. I was scared. I was like, why don't I see this anywhere? Why don't I know? Like, oh, should I ask my parents what it is? And funnily, I asked them, what does orgasm mean? And they just laughed
Oh
at me.
my
Yeah. So
god.
I didn't know what was happening. I was like, why is it such a funny thing to you? And then they were like, oh, ask the internet. So I was like, fine, I'll ask
Oh
the internet.
no. Oh no.
And the moment
No.
I saw
No.
what that meant in English, I was like, fuck
Yeah.
this, fuck language, fuck everything. And I was like, I'm not gonna open a tab for a week. And then I went on to play my Sims 2 lah. But yeah. Dude, it was
That's
insane.
very
I think
that was
there are many
vivid.
different people who would take it differently. Anyway, I wanted to ask you, yeah, we trailed off so far. Back to decisions. How much would you say is your decision making affected by other people? Like, would you, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 meaning, hey, I make my own decisions. 10 is completely dependent on other people. Whether it's you need their approval or they are asking you for something. Yeah.
Well, that really depends. Because okay, for me, I am actually a people pleaser. I am actually a people pleaser. To be honest with you, I was a people pleaser since I was a child. I mean,
No, same.
I didn't even know why.
No, same.
Because I guess so I guess it really does depend on them because that also depends on how much you believe in your abilities. For mine, when I was younger, I had like problems believing in myself, you know,
Mm.
when I was younger, much younger. Like I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago. It got worse then, but it got better.
Nice.
So I would say that I would be very now I depend on what I think is right based on my own principles. But while I was actually, pleaser, I would say I was quite dependent on other people to give me, what I need to do because I don't know. I always thought older people,
Mhm.
older generation people, they're always right. Then I realize how much wrong they can be. And I'm like, oh shit. So should I still listen to them?
Mm.
No, you can't still listen to them, but you just have to, you know, take it with a grain of salt, whichever there is salt, you know. Not not all of them are salt,
Yeah.
Gotta pick and choose. And it takes time for you to actually learn which one to pick and choose.
Exactly.
So when
Yes.
people tell you something, you gotta find out.
What point did you realize, and how did you realize that, hey, maybe they're not so right about this after all?
I mean, after crazy few mistakes. Like the worst case scenario that I've been in when it comes down to this is was I was studying something I don't want. I think a
I
lot of
see.
our generation or a lot of people in Malaysia tends to follow their parents when it comes down to what you're trying to do for the future because
Yeah.
they know best. The
Yeah.
idea here is they know best. So when you are in it, you have no heart in it. You don't feel like you believe that you can do this, and
Yeah.
you don't believe in the things you're doing. So
Yeah.
it becomes to the point where it just drains the living drains you.
Yeah, no word
Yeah.
there. No word intended.
I mean, yeah. Mm. But yeah, so until I realized that I was literally dying
Shit.
of, trying to be myself,
Mm-hmm.
trying to be myself for the long run, it became even toxic to myself. That's
Damn.
when I realized that's not a good idea. It's not a good
Yeah.
idea to just follow whatever people say, and you gotta fight. And I don't know why we in this world as human beings have to fight with other people.
Yeah.
And I realized it's always about belief. Honestly,
Yeah.
once you have a separate belief, it's conflicting, and it's like, oh, like why can't you just listen to me? Whatever you want to believe.
Yeah. Like, okay, so when it comes to beliefs, values, and all those things, it's at our very core, right?
Yeah.
So that is something that people get very protective about,
Mm-hmm.
possessive at times, and they could be obsessive about it. So when you're obsessive, you project onto people.
Mm-hmm.
But my brother, my older brother, and I had a conversation a few months ago, and he said something really interesting. He said, humans are very territorial. Whether we like it or not, they are naturally territorial. What makes a person not territorial, whether it's possessions, whether it's their beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that you reach a higher level of awareness. That means you advance with your thinking.
That's
So
right.
yeah, when it comes to people always arguing, that's how it correlates. Maybe they are not internally advanced with emotions or mentally advanced. I'm not saying that they're completely immature, but in certain situations, they could not be so aware about something. What do you think?
Oh, uh, that's a very polite way of putting things to perspective, honest to God. I mean, if I were saying something about this, I would say that this is completely and utter, BS. Because,
Wow.
uh, I mean, honestly, it's, yes, you may not be aware of certain things,
Mhm.
People are not usually aware unless they're taught,
Yeah.
especially if you are in a different generation. At that time and point, everybody is trying to decide what's the new normal.
Yeah.
What is normal for them. After the war, after all of this, what's normal for
Exactly.
them. And then comes religion, and then comes to how way of life thinking is. So, I guess people are still trying to figure it out
Yeah.
what it is. You know, what it means to be happy, what it means to be a healthy society, especially in this age. It's so much information out there, it's confusing.
Yeah.
But to have, I guess you're right, to reach that level of awareness, you need information. And
Mhm.
clearly, we need more campaign in teaching people this kind of things. Say,
Mhm.
hey, you can cry because if you're happy all the time, you're crazy.
A little bit of crying every night. A little bit of sobbing Friday night. Okay, I'll stop.
No, but
Okay.
seriously though,
But yeah, I get you.
how
Yeah.
how
Like
is it for you when it comes down to this kind of thing? Like how is that idea of choosing decision making for you as
mm,
a person? How do you come to it?
the most important thing is will this, let's say, commitment affect my freedom?
Mhm.
Because freedom is the most important to me. And when it comes to what I want, what is above that is the people I love. So I will always put them first. And when it comes to decision making, I always think of them first. I used to put everyone first. Like it became toxic to the point where it became toxic because I would say yes to everything and I would say yes to everyone. But that's because I didn't know what I believed in to know what I could stand for. That decision making of why I put them first is because I don't want people to feel like they are not loved. So I guess went and ran around the bush, but I could have just said first that my decision making depends on the priority of how much I love the situation, how much I love the person. It's not like, oh, I need to love you this much to put you first. It's just if I love you, I'll put you on the pedestal and put you first. So I guess it's
Mhm.
still very dependent. My decision making is so dependent on what makes me happy and what I'm willing to commit to. Aren't there other ways I can get to work? Like an airplane,
Mhm.
like a helicopter, or just a train? So then it's very dependent on the reality and how much I have to commit to a decision. So I like weigh out all the facts. But if it concerns other people, currently I always put my loved ones first. Loved
Mhm.
ones, of course the higher power, loved ones, and then there's me. I'm also a people pleaser, so I really understand. And it's like growing up, I didn't know why I was a people pleaser, but it seemed like a mission
Same.
to me. Like the
Yes.
mission where, yeah, right, where shit,
Yes.
I have to do this because I just have to. Like it's not even a justification of because it will make them upset, it will make them happy. I just had to do it.
I think it's more like you just don't
Yeah.
want to see people. For me, I don't want to see
Upset.
people disappointed,
Yeah.
upset. Yeah, it's like that
Exactly.
that level of expectation on other people is very important for you to attain your own happiness. Like, okay, if I do
Yeah.
this, it will make them happy. I'll be happy too. Like, we like to share, happiness of
Happiness.
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy at
It's
all.
not
Not healthy,
yeah,
children.
it's not healthy, especially if you don't put yourself first at some degree. If you put yourself not in the top 2, that's very dangerous. Or not in the top 3, sorry. If you believe in a higher power or you something stronger than your loved ones, or you know
Yeah. But
um
I do believe that, when you want to be happy while you want to please other people, that's okay. Like, you can.
yeah,
But you have to know your limit. You have to
your
know your strength when it
boundaries.
comes down. You have to
Yeah,
set, yes, boundaries. You gotta know what makes you happy and what makes you feel uncomfortable to do. And, like, it's okay to say
exactly.
no. God
Yeah,
damn.
exactly, dude.
Like, took me a long time to figure that, okay, it's no. It's like, I don't want to do this.
Mm.
And they will look at me with a sad face, although in my heart I'm like, please let me do this. Let me just help
Yeah,
this person. But in my
exactly.
in my head, it's like, no, 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 no. You've done this before. Don't repeat. Don't repeat. But
Yeah.
you know where this is going.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get you. I get you.
That get me thinking, like, ah, do you realize certain people don't mind that they're assholes? They don't mind it at all.
Oh my god, tell me about it.
Like why?
I
Like,
know.
there's so many things to be proud of yourself, but asshole is definitely shouldn't be one of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
Okay,
But
define what an a-hole is.
anything that is not a human being,
Oh,
like,
damn.
you, like,
Insane.
not and anything that's anti-human, anti-others,
Exactly. Yeah.
yes, anything that makes people seem less than they are, or anything that says, you know what, I know I'm doing wrong, but that's not your problem. Even so, this is
Yeah.
affecting you. Who are you to tell me that I shouldn't affect you this way? I'm like, well, Do I not have a say in it? Like, like, jeez.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. So it's
I
more
would,
like self-centered people, like super self-absorbed that they're so stuck in their own reality.
yes, it's not. It's stuck. Yes, stuck in the own reality is one. Self-absorbed is another one. Narcissistic, probably. Or yeah. I guess pretty much narcissistic says it all. You know.
Yeah, I just want to get my point out there. I'm sorry.
What do you
That,
think about
yeah.
assholes?
Oh, thank you. Okay. I used to be that kind of person who didn't want to call out assholes or narcissistic people, misogynistic people, sexist people because I thought that calling people out in general was mean. But you
Mm.
see, it's not mean if you want to be constructive about it. You know what I mean? So generally, oh my god, how
Yes.
can people be
Yes.
so unself-aware? Why do people choose to hurt other people or inflict discomfort or negative discomfort, let's say, on another person just by a super selfish decision?
You can you can talk about people who drive like an asshole. What does
Oh
it mean to
yeah,
drive like an
okay,
asshole?
yes, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Asshole drivers. Okay, to me an asshole driver, fine, if you don't want to use your damn signal, at least know what physics is to know when someone is giving you space on the road, then you can come in. We can communicate with our car movement, you know? But
Mhm.
asshole drivers, they swerve in your lane when there is less than a meter of space between the car in front of me and me. So I'm just like, dude, you never learned physics in school. Okay, sorry.
No, but it's right. It's right. I mean, for my experience of an asshole driver is the one that okay. There's difference of assholeness. There are asshole who are like very slow drivers. It's very slow drivers who are assholes. There are fast drivers who are assholes. So that's in between as well, I would say.
Yeah.
Asshole slow drivers, they tend to take their sweet time in the middle lane, yo, middle
Yeah.
lane.
Yeah.
Where's the slow lane? What slow lane? Which school did you go to that slow lane is in the middle lane? Which school? Which school? Please go back and take back your license,
No.
Please. Like, if fast car drivers, they just need to know. Okay, maybe some of them are assholes on the right lane because that's a difference. You see, when you call someone who knows that there's a fast lane
Mhm.
and they're going fast. Okay, that's fine. People who are a bit slow can go back to middle lane, but no, these asshole fast drivers are on the slow lane and shoving people from the back. Like how badly you want to kiss someone's ass that much. I've never seen anybody who really wants to kiss ass that badly. you
Dude.
know?
Yeah, dude.
Gee.
Yeah, dude. That's the best way to explain it.
But
Yeah, so
still,
anyway, if
you
you're
know.
watching and you kiss ass with car to car,
Mhm.
I'm gonna call the lawyer on you. No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk to you through my car. You better
Yes.
understand those beep beeps, man. Beep beep, dude.
I mean, there are other kinds of assholes out there. Like
Yes.
for example, let's say friends who are asshole. Okay, how do you differentiate between an asshole friend and a friend who is just an asshole for fun? You know,
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
yeah, being an asshole is sort of like, I would say, let's talk about for fun. I mean, being an asshole for fun is more like, oh, you
Joking around.
banter, joking around, you say things you don't mean, and you
Yeah.
know that they don't mean it, you
Mm.
know. But when it comes down to what it is being an asshole, but you are trying to be friendly as an asshole,
Mm, mm, mm,
well,
mm.
that usually is in consideration, number one,
Yeah.
because, oh, hey, I am going to call you up today, and then this is the time we're setting up, and then I am going to be late, and I'm not going to respond to you ever, like until next time. Or I'm only going to call you when I need you the most, like, hey, I'm currently in a rut, currently in a rut. So can you help me out? So you help the person out, and you don't hear anything from them. It's just like,
Dude,
you
I
know,
feel like
are
our
you okay?
experiences. Yeah, no, I'm just like, shit. Our experiences are so similar. Dude, like insane.
Pretty much. I
Right?
mean, it. I guess we just have to generalize what an asshole is.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know.
I'm gonna define it and wear a shirt that says anti asshole. But yeah, okay, so how would you deal with these types of assholes that you define? You know, flakes. They're like flakes, dude. Freaking flakes.
Flaker.
Flakers.
Yes. I guess how you deal with it is ig- you have to ignore them. Honestly, that's the only way you can actually get
Insane.
through it, because you can talk to them about it, but assholes being asshole, they're always into themselves, so to
Exactly.
speak.
Exactly. Oh my god. My head just had a pulsating feeling. I think I'm gonna get brain damage because you just hit the hard truth. Insane.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's usually the case. So like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna acknowledge that you exist, but not in the same realm as my face.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna put you behind me, like,
Exactly.
bye. you
Yeah.
know.
Exactly. Man,
So,
you know the definition of flakes? Me and my childhood best friend, she was
mhm.
the one that made me realize that there was so many flakes in my life, like more than the ones in my head, dude. And I was like, shit,
Okay.
I never realized. And she would define it as these people only come to you when they need what you can give. They don't even need you. So they would do this to anyone who can provide them what they need.
Mhm.
Bounce. They're like quicker than touch and go, dude. You see, touch and go when you go to the toll, it takes some time for it to register, right? These people
Yes.
are freaking smart tech. They just and then you just beep and then you just yeah, dude.
Yes, exactly.
Insane, dude.
Exactly. I don't know why do they do this. I mean, to the point where antisocial behavior, but
Mm.
I think it is because I guess it's kind of, would you say it's inhuman,
It's
or is it?
pathological, dude.
Yes.
Sociopathic, psychopathic. Yeah.
True. True.
Okay.
Because they tend to use other people for their own benefits. I guess that is
Yeah.
psychopathic. That's pretty psychopathic.
Let's define the difference between a sociopath and psychopath.
They're
Not.
both antisocial. Okay. Psychopath, in psychological terms, it tends to revolve around narcissistic behaviors. Um, Number two is it also revolves around, yes, antisocial behaviors, such as I shall use this person to get my own benefit, and there's nothing wrong with it because that's just the way the world works. In their head, they're always right, narcissistic behavior. So that's psychopathic, which is they tend to think themselves as someone more, more than other people, and
Yeah.
whoever can step on another person is like the winner, who is the winner of this race of life, psychopathic people.
Yeah.
Sociopath is more towards, if I'm sad, you have to be sad. Sociopathic people is has something to do the same as psychopathic, but only in a social way, where they are, if they're extremely downers, they will pull you down with you, and they will make sure that you have no friends. If they have no friends, you will have no friends.
The fuck?
Sociopathic tendencies, yes. Yeah, pretty much, I guess.
I have dealt with
Sociopath,
so many people like that. Insane, dude.
avoid those people, because if you per se you are one and you're listening, remember that we're talking about narcissistic behavior. Just remember, narcissistic do not ask themselves, am I a narcissist?
I
And
always ask myself that. Oh my god.
yes,
Ah, hallelujah. Amen. Amen. Ah, shit. Insane, dude.
Yeah. They are not self conscious enough to do that, or they rather not be self conscious. So that's the difference between sociopathic and psychopathic.
Thank you.
It's personality problem. It's a personality. It's not a problem, but it's just a type of personality, I would say.
Mm.
They chose this. That's the difference. Yeah. So, what about you? You mentioned just now, like you talked about, you
Mm-hmm.
dealt with sociopathic people. Like, what sort of thing did they do? Yeah.
Sociopathic. The way you described it was that they impose their lacking onto other people. I've dealt with people who were unhappy and they knew I was unhappy, but I wanted to get way better in life even though it was difficult. And the moment I got better, they would say, "Oh, you're leaving me behind." Or they would
Ah, yeah.
say, yeah, they would say, "Hey, we got this far together. Why are you leaving me like this?" So I would clearly say, "Hey, no, we're getting out together." And they're like, "No, I don't want to." And I'm like, I want to." So it's that kind of thing that imposes so much pressure. But then when you
Mm-hmm.
realize, it's like, damn, do you really want to keep this kind of people around, keeping you from doing what
No.
you want and happy? Yeah, newsflash, I kept people like this around for so long. Yeah, but that's one example. When you have friends or people want to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
or like, this happened recently also, like in the past few years or so. Just generally, when people want to talk to you, the person goes like, why did they talk to you? And they go straight and say, "Oh, hey, you don't want to talk to me, is it?" And I'm
What?
and I'm like, okay, this is not sociopathic, but it comes to the point where uh you must only give your time and attention to this person.
That is sociopathic.
Oh,
Narcissistic behavior, remember? It's
goody
like it's only
me!
me
I
in your
am
life.
a pro in receiving these things. Okay, let's
Oh
talk.
shit.
Let's be real here. It's not like I haven't been this type of person before. I have admitted traits of, hey, why did you talk to that person? Or is there a reason why? It's more. I would say it's more from an undealt insecurity that
Mm-mm.
what keeps you as a sociopath is when you choose that, like you said, it's a choice, right? When you choose
Mm-mm. It's
not
a
to do
choice.
anything about it. But what keeps you as an insecure person is if you realize, hey, this isn't good, but hey, I'm gonna get out of it. Because I've been insecure
Mm.
enough to question people, like, oh, why do you do that? Or question people, oh, what does this person mean to you? You know, it's topic for a different day. But that was in
Yeah.
relationships, you see. But
Mm-mm.
I think the difference here is the awareness. Yeah,
Yes.
like we just talked about. So
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
I mean, awareness is when you are done being ignorant. But people with these tendencies prefer to be ignorant because why would I want to get my head into this kind of mentality when I could be blameless? And you know what? There is a
Exactly.
research saying that if you blame yourself less, you are like twice likely to be much more happier. So yes, narcissistic people who have this kind of tendency will be much more happier.
Are you
But
happy now? Okay, sorry.
that's the thing about I mean that's the thing about happiness though. It's a fluctuating of emotion. You just can't be happy all the time. So if you're constantly happy, I would say you're crazy.
Then I'm on the right path, man.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, congratulations. You are a fully functional human being.
Yay. I will be releasing certificates for everyone. Please insert your name in the comments down below so that we could have the certificate of participation in the humane world.
Wow, that will make people even more anxious of living.
Yeah, insane. So, like,
Okay.
from what we talked about, I feel like people have grown apathetic, they have apathy because of the inability to endure what it is to be human. What do you think?
I guess being human is not being like any other animals, you know? You are sure, maybe you are animals, maybe. You want to be human, you have to know what it means to be human. Humans think, compared to other animals. It's not that they don't think, but for us, we are much more complicated, complex. We have emotions, we have personalities, even animals have that. We have logical thoughts. Humans are logical. Humans have principles. Humans have reasons to why they want to live, and some humans don't. But that what makes us human is that inability to survive is not due to the fact that you lack. Okay, you probably lack skills. Okay, I'm going everywhere with this. We are living in a world full of anxious people, I would say.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's a lot of people more anxious than before? Or is it just me?
It's come to the part where we are in the cognitive revolution. And yeah, because of the advancement, we're in the cognitive revolution, and I feel like yes, that means there are a lot more mentally evolved, advanced people, and that means that when we think more, we connect more
Mm-hmm.
dots, and so we
Mm-hmm.
give more reasoning to things. And sometimes when we give reasoning to what happened, it affects us to think that, oh, what can happen. And so anxiety is yeah, on a high right now, because when things get thrown out of our way, when we plan, but then things don't go according to plan, and we don't have the experience or the knowledge to combat that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's to the what I do notice is that the anxiety comes from unhealthy expectation of yourself.
Mm.
That tends to be the main source of anxiety is when or it's just a thought that is so not healthy for you to think about, and you just keep on going with that thought. It becomes like negative on negative on
Yeah.
negative on negative. It just
Exactly.
goes on until it actually elevates your blood pressure,
Yeah.
elevates your heartbeat pressure, and it's like, oh shit, if your thoughts can do that to your body, you know
Yeah.
if your thoughts can cause your body to be like explosive with, I would say untamed energy,
Yeah.
it it's gonna be anxiety all the way, honestly. But yeah, that's how I get my anxiety myself.
Insane.
Yes, yes, that's amazing. But you have to get through it.
Yeah.
Some days it's just gonna be very heavy,
Yeah.
but some days you can get that breathing in. Like,
Get the air in your lungs, dude.
I'm so anxious, and you're like, no one's looking at me right now. I'm in the back, breathing in, breathing out.
Yeah.
I can do this. Person,
Exactly.
have you seen the TV series? Oh my god, what is it called? The Doom Patrol.
No.
Well, yes, that is one. This is one character. She has the ability to stretch her whole body.
So like
So
Incredibles the mom?
yes, the mom ish. If she gets anxious, if she gets self-conscious, her body melts. It becomes ugly. How she feels on the inside is what she shows on the outside.
Insane.
So if per se you are, it's the same thing. But the thing that she actually says is, the person who is breathing is me. The person who is breathing is me. I am in control of myself. So you do get rid of all of those negative thoughts, saying that I can control my thoughts too. I have all of these things, but what can I do is breathe. This is what I'm gonna focus on.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Nice, dude.
But yeah,
Before this, what were we talking about? Huh?
what it means to be human. That's what we left off.
Okay, so what does it mean to be human to you?
Being humans mean that you are a thinking creature, meaning that you are not ignorant of the things surrounding you. It means that you use your mind, you use your brain, you use your heart, you use your soul, you use your whole body in this life to do whatever it takes to be happy at the same time, not on the expense of another person. I guess what it means to be human is be happy, but don't be inhuman. I guess don't be cruel living. Not even to yourself. You know, don't
Yeah.
be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. Be kind. You know, that's
Yeah.
all. What
Yeah,
about you?
yeah.
What do you think?
No, I really agree with that. And what's chiming in my head is how do people reach a point that they are unkind to themselves? How would that happen for you?
For me, when I'm unkind to myself, it's because of thoughts that are untrue. You know, you keep saying these things, these horrible things about yourself. You hear from another person saying these things about yourself, but it's not a big deal. But to you, it is because it's talking about who you are as a person, right?
Yeah.
So you still don't know who you are, and people are telling you who you are.
Yeah.
That's one. Number two is when you actually, you know, play around with these thoughts, and these thoughts became you,
Yeah.
you know, and that's when you start becoming cruel to yourself. Like, oh, you don't deserve this. Oh, uh, whatever you do is wrong. You know, oh, made a big mistakes. Everyone's gonna laugh at you. You know that kind of stuff. It's because you don't give yourself the benefit of a doubt to make a mistake.
Mm.
That's I guess that's where it actually ties back to an expectation of other people on you. People
Yeah.
pleasing,
People
you
pleasing.
know.
Exactly. Like there was an IGTV video that I was talking about the other day. And I lost my train of thought when came to the topic of making mistakes in our culture.
Hmm.
I feel like we grew up. Okay, this is just where I grew up.
Okay.
I grew up in a culture where we are not only not allowed to make mistakes, but we have to hide our mistakes. We always have to front like we are perfect. We always have to front like we know everything. We always have to claw our way out of like the learning curves. And this would mean that if you made a mistake and somebody sees it, or maybe we see it, we buy our way out of the fact that we made a mistake. Like, hey, no, I didn't make a mistake. You did this. You know,
The blame
the
game,
blame
everybody. The
game.
blame game.
Exactly.
Yes,
Okay.
the blame game.
For me, I of course I have been part of the blame game a lot. Like I was the imposer, and this was because I didn't realize that it's not about blame game. Especially growing up when I wasn't certain about what things meant in my life, I could only point to other people that hey, I'm like this because this happened. Like I wasn't mature in the mentally and emotionally enough to see that
Hmm.
sure these people did that, but what can you do about the situation to improve it? So I was in this position for a while. When I stopped being 17, I left home. I started to develop myself. I started to think that okay, it's not really about blaming people. It's about what you can do to improve the situation. So it was a lot of anger. It was a lot of anger, and just holding on to the fact that yeah, you put me here. Yeah, you know,
Same. Same.
right?
I totally get you. I totally get you. Yeah.
And only about couple years back, maybe almost 3 years. No, not even that long. I finally let go of that blame game thing because
Same.
what kept me what why I hung on to the blame game was because it just didn't make sense to me why someone would choose to help me get to the position I am at, especially when it
Hmm.
concerns caretakers in our lives. So I could
Mm.
not accept my reality, and that's why I stuck to the blame game. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
it does make
yeah.
sense.
So only recently I got out, and it feels way better, like honestly, to take ownership of, yeah, sure, this happened, but now you have the power to do things for yourself in your life, you know?
That's
But
right.
yeah. I don't know, how do you see the blame game?
It's exactly as you put it. It's to the point where, like the blame game affected me to the point where it started to blame myself. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
it became to the point where, oh, because people pleasers don't tend to say other people's is the fault to it.
Yeah.
They don't get the fault. It's probably our fault. But the thing is, blaming does not help anyone. And like you said, it's taking what other people say. If they blame you for it, and there is no point for you to say it's your fault. There's no point to saying it's my fault. There's no point saying it's anybody's fault at all. It's like,
Mm.
okay, so now this happens. What do you want to do about it?
Mm.
Okay. The point of people who actually hold on to the blame game is that what I've seen so far is that it becomes to the point where they don't want to think of a solution. They would rather stick to the anger. And I myself back then was where you are at as well, where
Mm.
it becomes to the point where it's just like I am not doing anything about it. It becomes to the point
Yeah.
what, live and let die,
Yeah.
just let it be as such the way it is because it's the way it is.
Mm.
But recently I've learned that yes, you can blame, but if you are not doing anything about it, then
Exactly.
what's the point?
Exactly.
It's about taking that script that you have of who is to blame, what is to blame, what is going on, where you are in your life that it becomes like this. You could add up to this, like, oh, because of this, I am like this. But because I am like this, that doesn't mean I can't be anything else.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I am like this forever. It means I have a
Exactly.
chance to, I have a chance to change my environment, change my way of life, change my way of thinking. The blame game stops you from growing. It puts you on hold to the point where someone is responsible for this, someone is responsible for my life, and it's not me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
blame game.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
And
realized as well, yeah.
that's a scary thought. That's ignorant. That's
Mm.
inhumane, I would say, honestly.
Exactly.
So that's what I think of what, you know,
The blame
the
game.
blame game.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, why we have blame game is because in our Asian culture, this is theory, yeah, is that Asian cultures, if you are not close to one another or you don't know each other to strangers, you are most likely to be helping if they are, in a sad position or they are
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
in trouble. But if you are someone they know, if you are someone they've spoken to, someone you are close with, when they are in a bad position, they tend to not like that idea because it's bringing the negativity. All I want is positive from you.
Yeah.
But in Western culture, if I don't know you, I don't need to help you. They're more
Yeah,
collectivistic.
I was
It,
just
it,
gonna bring that
it's,
up. Individualistic,
it,
collectivistic culture. Yeah.
that's so weird. You may see everything is black and white. Oh, Western is individualistic, and Eastern cultures are collectivistic, but they're not
Yeah.
just like that. It's interesting enough to say individualistic cultures when it comes down to themselves, they they are more inclined to helping themselves.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that uh, they're more inclined to helping people who they know.
Mm.
That's individualistic culture. But collectivistic culture is collectivistic of a society to help each other out. But when it comes down to people they know, it's individualistic. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I
You
know
know what I mean?
exactly what you mean. Yeah. I
It's
know exactly
so
what you mean.
strange. It's not black and white. People, it's
It's
not
not.
black and white. It's
It's
not
not. It's not.
individualistic.
It's not.
It's not collectivistic.
It legit isn't, guys. It legit isn't.
It's it's a mixture, and you can't say that we're collectivistic. We don't know what that is anymore. Collectivistic used to be about, hey, we are familial maybe, but even
Yeah.
in our in our Eastern culture, especially in where we are at Malaysia, that does not tend to happen nowadays. It becomes to a point, like I said, it's a blaming culture.
Yeah.
it's it, it's blame this, blame that, blame government, blame whatever, they just have something to complain about,
Yeah.
and it stems from
Yeah.
expectations. It stems from
Exactly.
ignorant of expectation does not make you happy. Fulfilling
Exactly.
expectation will not make you happy, never make you happy. It's just, I guess the correct term for this, it's not gonna make you fully satisfied. You know,
Mm.
if you fulfill those expectations, if you tell people of your expectations, it's not gonna make you fully satisfied. As a matter of fact, you're just gonna be disappointed even more because what you're thinking about is utopia.
Yeah. An idealistic situation.
Yeah.
With that, I would say it's really true. Like, not only isn't it black and white, we can talk about labels next time.
Yes.
Oh my god, labels. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think you really like summed it up really well. The way we see things and the way it affects the blame game. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I wanted to string back to what you said, that it came to the point where you blamed yourself. Yeah, same.
Mhm.
Um, as much as I say that, oh, I was in the blame game a lot, I was blaming people who put me there, there weren't a lot of people that, okay, sure, a lot of things happened, but there were more prominent situations that I focused on. And then the guilt quickly stepped in the moment the blame game happened. And so I said, no, it couldn't be them, it's just me. So, how
Mhm.
this affected was the fact that it's always gonna be me. So, even though
Yes.
someone, yeah, even though someone did, someone, like in my definition, did me wrong, I would just say, yeah, it's me. I would,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. That would be my
I get you.
conclusion.
I get you.
Yeah, right? So
Yes.
it's because, okay, now it's another gray area. It's some people won't go that far to say that it's their fault. They will be objective
Mm.
and say this happened, what can we do? Da-da-da-da-da.
Mhm.
But I think it's because of whether it's our people pleaser thing or not wanting to hurt people, putting other people first in terms of emotion. It could be
Mhm.
that just pins it on ourselves. You know what I mean?
I think you're right. I mean, if we don't know ourselves enough, we let other people decide for us, to be
Yeah,
honest. It,
exactly.
so it's to the point of how how adamant are you to holding your ideas of who you are? Because people who want to be good, right?
Mm.
They have this tendency where they want to be able to know what is good. And there's in psychology there's this thing called super ego.
Yeah.
So that's a moral compass where you've been taught since you were 6 or 4,
Yeah.
4 or 5. So you've been taught this. Okay, uh, when you cross the road, you look left and right. That's your moral compass. When you cross the road, you look at the traffic lights, then you can cross if it's green, right?
Mm.
That's your moral compass. That's your guide. But because we don't have a guide to what it means to be human, we don't have a guide to how we're
Yeah.
gonna deal with our emotions. We don't have a guide on how we're gonna, you know, um, make decisions that is based on information, and sometimes have the heart to take risk. We don't have that. So whatever people say, we're just gonna do because we believe the ultimate good is in everyone. Everyone has good. They're just trying to do what's best for you.
Mm.
That is That is the expectation that we place on other people. To be
Yeah.
honest, that is also that is normal, but that is also something should be changed. Like you don't put expectation on other people that tells you that you're gonna be good because of what they say, and you don't get the expectation of other people saying that you should do this, 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 therefore you're good.
Yeah.
You're giving them the power over you,
Exactly.
and that drives me mad.
Yeah, same.
To
Like
be
I'm just
honest,
getting slightly frustrated at the idea.
yeah.
I feel like we go
So
through
yeah,
very similar situations. Yeah.
we had. I think
Yeah.
I I do hear a lot of people complaining on how caretakers or people who they look up to keep mentioning things that you know it's not a big deal, but it became a big deal to them because it's someone important to them,
Yeah.
someone who they trust, and people who trust them, who you trust, who they trust, says these kind of things without even thinking about the consequences.
Mm.
And for someone who has experience in these consequences, I think they don't see where we are at.
Yeah.
We are at this age of technology where everything is there.
Yeah.
So even they are learning. You know, everyone is still learning. How old you
Yeah.
are until the day you die, you're still learning. You cannot
Yeah.
stop, or else you
Exactly.
die. Yeah.
And
So
this really leads back to our very beginning topic that people even though they are, let's say, parents, adults, they don't know everything, and that's where we realize that hey, they don't really know
no,
everything.
no,
We're
we can be
everyone's just the same. We're just at different points of our lives. That's it.
we can be less wrong every single time. And you
Yes.
never cross the same river twice. You never cross the same river twice.
And if you
So
do, that means you're not learning or you're not crossing the river right. You backtrack.
exactly. That means you're not aware that the river actually does not allow you the same thing. You thought it's
Yeah,
the same thing, but it's not.
it's not.
It's not the same.
Exactly.
There's no copy paste of experience. It's all separate. It's all subjective to your own
Yep.
perceptions. And the best you could do to deal with that, to counter that, singular perspective, is that
Yeah.
you open your mind to it, open your
Exactly.
heart to it, and say, you know what? Maybe there are better ways of doing things. Let's experiment.
Exactly.
Let's take small risks to make sure that we are actually doing something good for ourselves. Because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know, like if what you're doing is
Exactly.
actually ultimate right. And yeah, that's mostly
Yeah.
the case for our generation, is that we need to figure out what makes us human.
Exactly. Anything we say or do can never prepare us completely for the things we're about to experience. Nothing. Nothing. You can only
Nothing.
mentally prepare, but you have to do it to really know what it
Yeah.
means. And that's
Someone can
the
share
yeah.
you the experience. Someone can tell, oh, this is how it feels. This is how it feels. You never feel the same thing.
Yeah, no,
There,
not even exactly, dude.
not even exactly.
And
That's right.
I would say, I think to sum this whole thing up about no one can prepare you for the things that you are about to walk through.
Mm-hmm.
Kierkegaard once said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards."
Kierkegaard is a smart man.
He is a smart man.
Read philosophy, people. Philosophy. Kids, go home and ask your dad what is philosophy.
Especially if
If you,
you're 8 or 9. If
yes,
you're eight or
especially when
nine,
you're 8 or 9.
ask those
You,
questions instead. Ask those
yes,
questions instead.
yes. Don't ask your dad where do babies come from. No,
No,
no, don't.
no, that doesn't matter. You're here. You don't need to know what else.
No,
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 not
not yet. They will teach
no.
you, but just learn other
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Somehow, okay. Even if people don't teach you, The spiritual side of you will know the answers, man. One
Yes,
day,
it.
one day.
But with facts, you can't just go like on the other side and say the world is flat.
Yeah,
Like
no.
even so, you don't know.
It's
you
that
know.
sounds very familiar. I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
Lol.
But still,
But anyway, I think that's a really good close. It was very insightful,
conversation.
honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we
That's the
always,
word.
yeah, we always have these conversations on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and Ritz, we always talk, but they're never
Yeah.
recorded. So this is just
No.
like not even 1% of the things that we always talk about. And
Yes.
it's so exciting that when you meet someone who kind of sees things relatively the same, you feel like, hey, maybe I'm not alone in this, and I'm not crazy. That's the most important thing. So
Yes.
yeah.
This is what I'm gonna tell you people about how you want to consider other people's emotion. I don't know why, but this is like one of my pet peeves. It's like when you are gonna be there for someone, when you are trying to be there for certain someone, when you are making them feel important, it's no longer about you.
Yep.
Get
Exactly.
out of your head, like
Exactly,
look
dude.
at them and look at them and
Look at them
just
in the eyes, dude. Look at them in the
just listen.
eyes.
At least
Exactly.
for a few minutes. If you don't know what to say, all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Human. You want to be human, you gotta learn human.
Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ritz, for making me feel like I'm not crazy anymore. Like
I should.
insane.
Oh, I mean, same. I should thank you for making me feel like my ideas, my thoughts isn't so crazy myself. I feel like maybe this is a. It's not normal. Maybe it's not normal. But
Maybe we're
no,
both not abnormal, dude. I don't know.
maybe we're just strange people. Hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
still.
yeah. That was perfect timing. Yeah, lol. But yeah. So anyway,
I think we're good.
we're good.
I hope you guys enjoyed whatever we've talked about. And if per se we actually say something that is wrong or say something that, you're not agreeing with,
Yeah.
please do let us know because honestly, we can only be less wrong every single
Yeah.
time. I said it once and I'll say it again. We can only be less wrong. So let us know. Tell us.
Asterisk though, wrong is only
Yes,
defined by what you define it as,
yes,
not even what
correct.
we define it as. Yeah. So thank you, Ritz, for agreeing to
Thank
come
you for
on to
having me.
downtime to
Having me.
share on this platform, dude. I really think more people should like hear what you have to say. Honestly, honestly, dude.
I don't know, but maybe
We'll
it's in the
see
future.
in the future. Hopefully, you come back on, dude. Yeah,
Yes.
but so, if you like this video, leave a comment. Would really love to know what you think. Or if you're watching it on IGTV preview, please leave a comment. Um, and if you really liked it, leave a like so that we know that hey, somebody else thinks we're not
Yes.
crazy. You know. Um, yeah. So
Or
follow us.
maybe,
What?
or you can actually leave, yeah. Or you can actually leave a dislike. I mean, if you don't agree, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
whatever you
gonna
want to
cut
do.
that out anyway.
Freedom of
Yeah.
choice.
I'm gonna cut that out. Lol. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna keep it in. Um, yeah. So follow us on Instagram at
No.
downtime_podcast for more updates on new episodes, on quotes, on probably new collabs. And till next time, this is downtime, and see you in the next episode. Thank you for coming on, Ritz.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
And is it done?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, dude. Lit. Awesome. I'm not even
Yeah,
kidding.